What up, Twitch? It's your boy Pootu. Welcome back for the commercial break. I've got the Pootu crew here. I'm about to click unmute. There, what an intro sound. That was perfect. Well timed.
I can always tell how long the delay is based on when I put something in and when Putu reacts to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, there you go. It's like 3 or 4 seconds.
You just calculate that out for any future airplay noises. Absolutely. How is the Pootu crew? We got Battle Armor here. We got PS Zombie. Climate Change is about to hop on. Did you guys have a good 4th?
Yeah, I'm enjoying my 3-day weekend.
I saw not one firework.
There were a lot here, and our cats were very freaked out.
Oh.
They were running all over.
I forgot having pets during 4th of July.
Yeah, it makes it more difficult.
Okay, sorry, you were saying you were playing.
Oh, I played a different.
What's up, Climate Change?
Oh, cool.
Hey, sorry about that, everybody.
No worries, mate.
Got home a little later than thought I would.
Are you cool to start? You need a sec, or are you good?
I'm good.
Sick.
Cool. Well, we are live.
Okay.
Which one were you doing? The one you run, or
the
other one?
Yeah, the one where I play.
Where you're a bard.
Yep. Good times. It was a big party.
Do you miss being tanky when you're a bard?
Yes.
You're like,
the fact that my AC
massive
is so low,
AC.
I'm like, oh god.
You're like, yes, it hits with my 14.
But, I mean, rolling a plus 15 to deception kind of offsets that. So
that's pretty cool.
We were all talking about our 4th Climate Change. How was yours?
Pretty good.
Yeah. How was the other state that's different from the state you're in? Oh, you named it. I wasn't gonna name it. I'm gonna keep you ambiguous.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jock you, Joel.
Points
I mean, it's a pretty big place.
You went to Kentucky?
I could be lying.
Did you get any fried chicken while you were in Kentucky?
No.
You know what's funny is I actually specifically did eat when I drove to Kentucky. On my way up here, I did specifically eat a Kentucky Fried Chicken just to be like, "This is it, babe. This is the Kentucky."
I mean, I'm just assuming, but I gotta figure they try a little bit harder if you're actually in the state.
A little bit more effort into it.
Like, come on, guys, you're actually in Kentucky. This has got to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good to hear. We are about to get started, so I'll just do my little elevator speech, as it were, and then we'll get started. You're watching the Unbeaten Path, which is our Monday night D&D campaign, which is now on its 20th anniversary of episodes. We're on the 20th episode.
We've been doing this for 20 years.
5
years hasn't even been out.
Hey, you don't know what an anniversary means.
That's right.
Be on a
We started
basis.
in advanced D&D, and here we are.
Here we are. Started from now, now we're here. Exactly. So we're about to start that. I know PS Zombie kind of snuck away later from the event. I saw him earlier to devise something, so I know he's got something cooked up over there that I can't wait to see what it is. So we'll get to that in a minute. First, I had
to actually world build. It
I know.
Quite an effort.
Disgusting.
Probably it took your afternoon away, just getting ready to throw stuff at us. I tried to figure out what kind of CR he had in the books, but he wasn't showing any of his cards. So we'll see.
Oh.
See.
I don't look at CR.
Yeah, we'll see how that is.
Yeah, I mean nothing.
I do want to do a quick plug for tomorrow night. So we were doing Dungeons and Dragons on Sunday night as well. We're just shifting that to Tuesday. So if you'll join us again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central, we'll be having another campaign going, which is our Kaiju Slayer. And I usually don't do this, but I'm very proud of this. So I'm going to slip in a little bit of a teaser of kind of what you're going to be seeing. If my mouse...
Well, I'm the only player present, so I got to listen extra hard.
No. Just watch the stream. I'm going to pop it to the viewers here on the stream, and they'll see what they'll be seeing on Tuesdays. So Twitch, I'm giving you a little future preview. Little spoiler
It's
alert.
a cool banner.
If you want to come and see us on tomorrow night at 8, that's what you'll see is that banner. Nothing as good as what PS
It's
Zombie.
wonderful.
So, anyway, we have that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. That's the Pacific Rim
So you're gonna give us
universe.
spoilers to the monsters or something?
No, you got to listen for that, bruh. 8 o'clock Central, we'll be doing a level 20.
Listen, I gotta play.
Yeah, that's true. Level 20 Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and it's ridiculous because that's such high level. These characters are doing mega damage, and they're fighting some mega big monsters. So you don't want to miss it. Be there for that. Also, you can find PU to ASU on any of the social medias: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We're all there. You can also find the direct links for all these and our Discord server on the channel here on Twitch. So hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. We encourage any follows, and subscribes that you can throw our way. We just appreciate all the support that we've been given to this point. It's been very fun. I want to do a quick shout out to my alma mater, Pfeiffer University, because they shared a bunch of one of my posts on social media through their campus activity board.
Oh, yeah?
So the whole campus was it was a very thoughtful kind of share, but I just want to give a shout out for Pfeiffer University, which is in North Carolina. It's a very small private college there, and I just appreciate all of you guys in Meisenheimer, and thank you for that. If you go to that university and you're listening to this channel now, thank you for joining us. Just a special shout out for the people there and the students that go there.
Pfeiffers?
I know we may be getting some.
What's the
Pfeifers.
mascot?
The Falcons.
The Fighting Pfeiffers?
The Fighting Pfeifers.
The Fighting Falcons.
The Falcons. So if you're listening to us from North Carolina,
all sports teams are
Falcon
fighting.
punch.
Yeah, if you're listening to us from North Carolina, I appreciate it. And then I want to also circle to you, Climate Change. Would you mind doing a quick plug?
Nani?
Would you mind doing a quick plug for the subscription that you can do through Amazon and what that is?
Yes, everyone. There are free Bezos bucks out there. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you got to take those and use them. They're just sitting there. It's just money you can be given to somebody, whether it's this stream or another stream, you might as well subscribe with your Amazon Prime.
That's right. And every 30 days you can use
Free
that.
Twitch subscription.
You can use that every 30 days. And so why not use it here on this channel for good D&D content? It keeps us going. So that's kind of my plugs and my intros. So I'm going to give the keys over to PS Zombie. PS Zombie, how you feeling tonight?
Feeling good, man.
Are you feeling free and independent, America?
Oh yeah.
Good.
We were okay. Last off-topic thing, but we were saying that they should do because we were talking about how at correctional facilities, do they let the prisoners out to the yard to watch the fireworks? We were like, what if there was a movie where it was about a prison break during the 4th of July to as cover, and you call it Independence Day? I know there's already a movie called Independence Day, but that's still pretty good.
Let Freedom Ring or something, but yeah.
You could do Independence Day and just add a subtitle.
Yeah,
so you can get away.
My tagline was going to be "Fight for your freedom," but yeah, I thought it was a great idea. It's starring Liam Neeson. But I guess he's Irish. Who's a more American actor? Kevin Costner, most American actor alive.
I feel like John Cena is arguably the most American actor I can think of.
Oh,
He'd probably do it. He's doing a lot of acting these
we gotta
days.
play that on
He
the
loves
stream. Little John Cena. Oh, I gotta wait 12 seconds.
I think we had one earlier.
His name is John Cena.
All right, well, whenever you want, we can switch over to the stream.
You got it.
View of our characters. But yeah, in the last episode, we had fought to the Guardian of the Downward Path, Nurungwe. The not quite so enigmatic due to the many times he revealed himself to you. Jarider fell fairly handily to y'all and your companions. And though he fought valiantly, he was thwarted and his essence was taken back by the path, as so many others before him. He also dropped a mysterious rapier, which is now in our party's possession. And they found a pit that presumably leads out of this room. But that's about where we left off. So we can run through some quick introductions if Battle Armor wants to start us off.
Yep. Yeah, I'm Battle Armor. I'm playing Karos Fester. I am a armor artificer who is also a Navarial. Real curious guy. Good tinkerer. Thinks that he is a very nice person and kind of is. Climate changer.
I'm a climate changer playing Alibaba, the warlock tiefling of the group who has a flame tiger companion and a familiar currently summoned. And over to you, Amubis.
Hi everyone, it's Putu. I play Amubis, which is a Minotaur cleric, specifically Grave Domain cleric, and he has a companion named Dalio, who is a beast of the land mechanically, and together we are the classic Amubis and the Sundance Kid, and that's us. Feeling
Awesome.
pretty good about that fight too.
Yeah, that fight went quite well for y'all. I'm really not bitter.
That's
okay.
It's just good fun.
Yeah.
Y'all are the players.
Stomped
Y'all are the ones going forward. So I'm perfectly fine being on y'all's side. But yes, he was a fun guy to play, and look forward to potentially recycling him in the future. But yeah, so you find yourself, just to cover kind of what's happened, Nurungwe was defeated and sort of dissolved more or less into light and was reabsorbed. This light took the form of spiders, as most of his effects are spidery in nature. You've burned off most of the webs in this room, with the exception of the giant glowing web that was over the pit. And as you approached it, the web started to like disappear, as if there was an aura about you that dispelled it. But yeah, now you're in this room, facing a pit.
I don't see much else we can do in here. Shall we just, I don't know, jump in? Or would you guys prefer if I went down first and sort of used my wings to glide myself gently downward and then gave you some sort of sign that it was okay?
I would prefer us not get separated.
Yes, that is the thought. It's just like,
maybe for a brief moment you can jump, and we will certainly follow right behind you. We will not leave you stranded.
Always. We will always follow one another together.
We would never consider leaving.
Guys are being awfully weird.
Amubis and Oliver just kind of staring crossways at each other.
Amubis with his zero knowledge of anything.
Zero
knowledge. It's just staring at people for funsies, I suppose. He's just staring.
He just has
he's
a
friendly guy.
Yeah.
Do you want to see if he has a feeling? We can do a quick roll off and put an end to this right now.
Yeah, I think I'd like to do a little insight.
All right,
check.
Amubis, do an insight check. Alibaba, use a deception check.
Okay. I kind of want.
And this will only tell.
Good luck.
This will only tell you if
hiding
anything's
nothing.
up. All right, you literally cannot beat this, Amubis.
Give it a shot
So,
anyway.
Amubis, you have zero
Wasting
idea that
that
Alibaba is potentially up to anything. You
Wasting
will
that
treat him
natural 20.
entirely normally, or you will get
Oh!
negative inspiration, which negative inspiration is I give you disadvantage whenever I feel like it.
Just like that one? No, sorry.
It was so
Yeah,
close,
no.
though. Review the
Oh
numbers.
man, what?
Oh my god!
That's
Review the
idiotic, but
numbers.
I
He does have a
you
feeling.
cannot actually beat him. So
That's hilarious. That's nuts.
Insane.
Play back the vid. Play back the vid.
Roll back the tape.
Ravon. Can I say how glad I am to waste 2 natural 20s that are completely inconsequential?
We
The
are
least
very close
delighted.
to changing our opinions of one
I,
another.
I like this new DM strategy of baiting us against one another.
Yeah,
Base
get
our
the
rolls.
You're the one who
Rolls
was
out of the
betting
way.
against him. You've been suspicious of him for no reason for like 5 sessions now.
It was good comedy. I was just doing jokes.
I like the joke. It's a good joke.
Yeah, I'm feeling with you.
Hmm.
This roll is literally inconsequential, but the 2 natural 20 is very impressive.
Fantastic. Let's just see if I get in on this action.
And they never did it again.
I was just looking down the pit.
It's over, not allowed.
Well, you hope that jumping down a large pit at the end of your journey will be like a good thing, but there's always a chance that I'm just reading too much into it. And I've just like read too many books, and this is just a pit. It's just like a normal pit.
Hmm.
Sure.
It's very unlikely to be normal.
Yeah, right? That's what I was thinking. I just needed another person to say it so that I wasn't the idiot who jumped down a pit. Well, Geronimo?
Say Geronimo.
Geronimo.
I
All
So
Alibaba
he waits.
after.
Alibaba waits a second for the sign.
I jump in. That's the sign.
Are you all going together?
Alibaba, he follows.
I
He
follow.
jumps with Kipling and like rides Kipling down through the.
I like try to
Um,
ride Dahlia, but clearly he doesn't want it. So stop.
He just keeps pushing you off.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, when you jump, the 3 of you begin to fall as if jumped into a pit. But when your companions reach the web, it blocks their travel.
Oh no!
Oh no.
We'll transfer over to my pit map here. Yeah, so as you descend down this pit and it begins to grow dark, you can see the golden web and your companions kind of staring down at you, and they look very sad and disappointed, and they're kind of clawing at the web, but it blocks their passage. But before they disappear out of sight, you can see each of them in turn roar, and a blast of your colored light, red, yellow, and blue, shoots down at you and strikes you in the chest. And each of your companions has granted you a boon.
Ooh!
And these are permanent boons.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, Karos.
Cool.
Yeah.
Rainer has given you her reaction. You can
Nice.
use her defender thingamajob.
Heck yeah!
Also, her ancient advanced technology, long forgotten lore, has taught you a new way to rewire your thunder gauntlets, and they can now do force damage instead of thunder damage.
Ooh, dope.
So yes, you get
Blast.
glowing fists of fury, and this can be kind of flexible because I don't want to change your look too much, but your armor can take on a somewhat Rainer-like quality.
Yeah.
And that can be either like a panther head on the chest plate, or Power Ranger style helmet, or you can just have.
I was absolutely thinking Jungle Fury Panther style
Yeah,
helmet.
we'll
Was
do
what
that then.
I
Yeah,
was
your helmet now, where the visor is kind of in the mouth of a panther shape, as Rainer has become a somewhat permanent part of your armor here.
And when I use the force aspect of the Thunder Gauntlets, I am absolutely just going to do Strike Laser Claws. Like it's just
Totally.
it's going to be a more raking attack than
Yeah, or like do you remember Shining Fingers from G Gundam? Like kind of that similar look.
I don't
Since-
think I ever.
With
It's
all of
just
my
his
justice and all
fingers
of my
just
fury.
glowed, and then he could like it would just cut through metal when he like touched
Yeah.
things or grabbed things or punched things. So
Dope.
it was like a cutting aspect. Totally.
Yeah, I think the only Gundam I've ever watched was those like several episodes of Chibi Gundam that we watched,
Yeah. Good
which
time.
is kind of a good series, but like whatever.
It's
It
no Gundam
was-
Wing though. That was the best.
No
Wing?
other Gundams.
I liked Iron Blooded Orphans. That's a newer one. But yes, Amubis.
Yes.
Dalio has given you his charge.
Thank you, friend.
If you move 20 feet in a line, you can do, his charge thing where you can do extra damage, knock him prone.
Thank you.
In addition, your Milky Eye clears again and takes on a instead of your normal bovine eyes, which have almost like those square-shaped irises, it takes on a cat shape to it, and you now have dark vision, as you can always see not just where the sun is, but you can see the light of the sun.
Sun's rays. Cool.
Cool.
And Alibaba, the heat of Kipling bakes your scales, and as they get torched, they change from a red to a rocky black, and you are now permanently under the effects of bark skin. You have 16 AC,
Wow.
and it is unaffected by anything. You just have 16
All right.
AC. And also, you can use fiery teleportation, but only once per rest rather than twice per rest.
Awesome. That is good. Very good.
Yeah, I feel like literally no matter what, this whole time we've just wanted Alibaba to be out of danger. Like he got two kind of tanks, so it's like, dude, just get out of here and Eldritch Blast from like 100 feet
I
away.
know. You can give the boy bark
That's
skin,
where you're
and
best.
I'm gonna be like Nightcrawler, man. Just like all over,
Like it.
all over the battlefield.
Well, it's also I feel like it's nice to have abilities that don't take your limited spell slots when
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
when you're
It's like-
a warlock.
That's very much like an invocation. Like once a day, get to do some random thing.
Yeah. So you can get those in your sheets now, or we can do it later. Matters not.
I already popped mine in my character sheet.
Well, and you can, at least for this session, I'll let you hold on to your companion's character sheets if you need to reference. I'll probably remove them later. But yes, these are permanent booms that are kind of augmenting or adjusting things you previously had. Did I mention Amubis also your shields return to its former form?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it went from the moon one. You
Yeah,
stole.
instead of the moon shield, it now goes back
makes
to
sense.
his sun shield.
Cool.
But now there's a little lion face in the sun,
Oh, that's awesome.
and the rays are like his mane. So
You were the best
You got a little-
Sundance kid. I tear up a little bit
Little-
while I touch it. Can you look
Little
at
sun
my
boy.
sheet, DM?
how so?
I put in the charge damage, but I messed up. I don't know what I did on messing up of the calculations. I think it's trying to just take a look at it. I messed up this. I think it was the strength.
Let's
Part of it.
see.
But yeah, Amubis gets a little emotional in the goodbye.
I mean this thing with the damage -1. When do you say? Is it supposed to be the solar shield?
Yeah, I added the charging to it because I saw you gave it a D6 modifier for the charge.
Sorry guys, just one.
I mean, we can do this later. I could work on
but-
it. You can keep going with it.
No.
Detailing.
I think we're good. I'm just gonna test this real quick using your character sheet. It's not quite right. Isn't
Probably not
this
having
magical?
That's adding too much.
No, that's accurate.
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
got 20 decks.
I'm a Dex
Oh, does he?
boy.
Okay. Cool. You're dexed out, dude.
That's right.
Gums.
I don't think I need
That's
that.
that's why he
This
couldn't
milk-
beat.
Can shake.
All right, so yes, you continue to fall. And as usual with boons, I reserve the right to adjust them later if they're just completely broken and I miss something. But you continue to fall, and it gets to be probably like a minute of falling, and you're losing sight of the web and the previous hole. There's just kind of like a tiny speck of light from that dimly lit cave where you fought in your own way. You can still see each other, as you all now have dark vision. But other than that, you're just tumbling down a black hole. And then after a minute passes, another minute passes, and another minute passes, and several minutes pass. You're now up to 10 minutes of falling with no end in sight. You now can't see anything below you or above you, and the sort of sense of falling's lost a bit of its meaning to where like you kind of have to focus on remembering that you're falling for you to feel like you are, because it just kind of feels like you're suspended in air.
I
Yeah.
to entertain myself, I face downward and I'll spread out my wings and I'll pretend like I'm genuinely flying.
Nice.
Because it's been a little bit since I've been able to do that.
Now I don't remember. Do you have like metal covers for your wings, or do you have slots so that your wings can poke out raw?
Yeah, no, I have like somewhat stylized like metallic wings. Um and they got sort of improved when I got the boon to featherfall. Like they actually catch air now.
Yeah.
They are smaller than like my wings would ordinarily be.
Right.
But they are still wings, and they.
Right, because even the rest of your party can recall someone like Sister Rodell. She probably had like almost an 8-foot
massive
wingspan. She had huge wings.
Yeah. In order to be able to like keep a human-sized being aloft, they have to be like real long and real thick.
And there's a certain element of magic to it where like they're not literally beating to keep Avarials aloft, but
angel style.
there's it's a mix of the both. It's mechanical and magical. But yeah, if y'all don't do anything in particular, you're just going to continue to fall.
Alibaba kind of lays down.
Yeah.
Just relaxes on the ground.
I mean, this is a restful. This is a restful period. So, an hour will indeed pass if you choose to short rest during this time. You absolutely may. As you kind of can't not rest because there's nothing to do but tumble. And yeah, you can.
So you can't really move from your location.
You can. It's just all meaningless space. So the only thing it would do is drift farther from your friends, which you are free to do should you like.
So we're basically using skydiving moves, like there's air resistance.
Yeah, there is air resistance, so you can, pull
speed up and
tricks if you want.
I gotcha.
If you look over, Newt's kind of like diving somewhere off to the side. He's kind of folded his wings in and just.
He's doing
can I do an Arcana check to see?
Yeah. What are you checking for?
To see if I see any sources of magic around us, since I can't see anything visually. Because it says if magical sources glow, I'm trying to figure out maybe if there's something we can move towards that we can't see.
Sure.
Okay.
Mubis is just wondering how much is this going to hurt, and he's going to pray here in a second.
As you look around, there's nothing. This is just a fall.
I believe we are stuck.
Uptown, guide us.
Well, we're certainly moving somewhere. I tend to think this is just sort of the path is a little bit farther away from our intended destination than we thought, and it's just got to get us there. And this is all actually being shouted because I'm the
Yeah, just the rushing. I think we're almost now. So you give your little prayer to Uptown. It does feel like you feel a certain distance. It's not so atypical for how you felt on the path that it is a place apart. It certainly didn't feel like you didn't feel the presence of your God like you did on dry ground, kind of. But you do your prayer, and you've still got your powers and everything, so you're not worried about that. But yeah, I'm gonna say now 4 hours have passed, and you are still falling.
This is taking a while.
yeah. I feel
Yeah,
like
it's starting to get getting really kind of miserable. It's not an enjoyable fall.
It's like being on a plane and you have no real concept of like how long it's going to be, and you're just sort of like, this isn't very comfortable.
I wish they had TVs and rooms, food.
Some form of entertainment, certainly. I've taken to playing some word games or something, like sort of an I Spy kind of thing, but it's just with things that I'm thinking of, like a 20 questions or something.
Do you think it's stuck this? Do you think we are stuck this way?
Well, I should hope not, but I don't know. We could certainly sleep like this and then see where we are.
Might as well. We're not going anywhere. Well, we may be. I don't quite know.
I mean, I don't really know what I could do. Like, do you have any plans about what you could possibly do to like remedy this situation? I don't really. I'm sort of at the mercy of falling here.
Well, I could go talk to my friend in my pocket, but
yeah, it's your pocket friend.
I don't think that would actually get us out of this situation.
Might be entertaining though. You could go in there and then tell us what he says, and we could all laugh. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Yes, I could ask him if he's ever been in
Ever been falling
this
for 4 hours?
falling vortex. Yeah. Okay, I mean,
I'll hold on to your flasks so you don't go floating away.
yes. Good, thank you.
Tell him we said hi.
Yes, and make sure to remember what he says. Again, very bored.
Every
Will do.
detail
I will.
about your life or ours.
Okay. It's usually pretty laid back in there. We just sort of sip on coffee. Nothing big, changing.
If
Nothing
you can bring out
interesting.
coffee, I mean, do bring out coffee if you can.
Okay, I'll see if I can do that.
I would like a cup.
What's coffee?
Do you like light roast
Oh, it's
or?
good. You like it? I mean, I like light roast because it's got more caffeine.
All right.
I'm mostly in it for the caffeine, to be honest.
So Alibaba casts. What's it called? Bottled respite.
Yes. You go to do it, and you see a little light on your. You see a little busy tone on your flask as a little red light beep beep beep. beep
Normally
beep,
the
beep.
stopper comes off, guys. I don't know. It's It's like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes, you
that
appear
is
to
not an
not be able
option.
to enter your body.
Well, that's disappointing. It was a good
It is
5 minutes.
very weird.
Like the hope will keep me going for another hour.
I really want to take coffee. I see.
I mean, it's still a
Maybe we
flask.
should just go to sleep. Whatever.
Maybe it has coffee in it.
Yeah.
Just try drinking it. You can't. You actually wouldn't be able to drink while falling, would you? Because it would just kind of. It wouldn't be
Yeah, I
able
mean,
to
you could
fall
make
in.
a vacuum
Yeah, maybe.
because it would kind of be in free fall like you would. So if you
Yeah.
could get it to your mouth,
You had a
you
straw.
could suck it.
Yeah. Interesting.
The big suck.
Oh yes, I imagine we'll just occupy our time for the next couple of hours.
And
When Mubus meditates, he's just kind of he's used to like slow days at the church.
I will say that Karos is not used to any kind of slow day. You kind of work on something with your hands to keep the thoughts out.
Baba can go to sleep pretty easily whenever he wants. So
well, I'll tell you all that something will change after 12 hours have passed. You can either take a long rest or stay awake for it, and your character will take a point of exhaustion. It is up to you.
Oh, so it's long rest.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll take a long rest.
Yeah, I want to sleep. I'm fine.
Yeah, cool.
what if we miss something?
Go into a trance for 4 hours, I believe, is the thing
You
that I have.
may metagame and know that. Yes, you must transfer a minimum of 4 hours.
Minimum of 4 hours.
I don't think there's a limit to how long you can trance. If you're
Just
just
conk out
bored
the
of
whole
that,
time.
just live inside your own mind, your mind palace of building things and tinkering.
Indeed.
So as I say, you all can have a long rest.
Sounds
So I will do that.
12 hours since you entered the pit pass, you start to hear frantic peeping from Newt, where he's like, beep, 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 beep. And it wakes you all. And you can actually see a point of light that you're heading towards as you tumble downward. And from the point you see the light to the point you like pass through whatever tunnel is gone is mere seconds as it appears and interacts immediately, and all three of you fall into water.
Water.
Indeed, as you splash down in some sort of underground lake.
Is the water clear?
The water it's clear enough, but it's also very, very dark. The only light is bioluminescent plants, which are giving off dim light in the area, and they're not underwater. They're only above ground. So the water is very, very cold and very, very dark. Not freezing cold, just uncomfortably cold.
Definitely want to swim out.
Yeah, you even though you fell from an unfathomable height, the impact of the fall was probably like a 1-story drop. So you just splash fairly normally. All of you are capable enough swimmers, so the water is still like a lake. It is not moving. So, oh man, I forgot to do music. We'll do this. So you don't have to roll anything to be in this water. But Newt, as usual, appears to just already be there. Somehow he always seems to arrive places just before you and find a nice place to perch. So, there you go. It's a good splash.
My neighbors just shot some fireworks, so
Oh, I thought that was your splash. I was like, I thought it was just good sound effects.
I was surprised. I was like,
That was the Joel classic.
they are really close.
Yeah, that felt like it was inside of your house.
Yeah, I felt the vibrations.
I did too, boys.
It's pretty terrifying.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, climate change might be being robbed. We'll
Did
just
did your dog freak out? Is he okay?
He is not a firework freak out dog.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good for him.
The rare guy.
Mm-hmm.
New guy just dropped.
He's evolved.
What a good boy.
I'm looking on the bank, DM. I'm scanning to see if I see anything on the
Sure.
bank of the river because I kind of want to paddle out to the bank.
Well, as you look around the cave, this is a self-contained lake, it seems. You can see that there are, like I said, the bioluminescent plants. There are rocks. There is a shore, and you can see a small hut made of mostly mud. But you can't see. There don't appear to be any living things besides y'all and Newt currently.
I will attempt to silence the fireworks throughout the day.
All right.
Um,
Gonna cast silence.
does
Quality spell.
do we all have or dark vision?
You do all have dark
I do.
vision.
All right. In that case, not going to cast any light spells. Just gonna kind of sneak over and be as stealthy as possible after that, and try to sneak over to the side of the water.
All right, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
All right. Getting there. Stealth.
All right. Yeah, you can swim over to the side easily enough. You're a little slow in the water. You're not certainly as fast as you are on land, but you're capable swimmer, unless you want to RPB otherwise. And you can reach the side and not be in the water anymore.
Okay.
But as you're swimming over, you make a little bit of a splash.
Oh.
And it's not the quietest splash that's ever existed.
Like the firework. Oh.
Not quite like the firework. A little more subtle
there's another
than
one.
that. But if somebody was paying attention, they might hear such a thing.
Okay, well, are you guys still out in the middle of the water?
I didn't mean to hit that perception again. Sorry.
Heard?
It's a shame
He's
'cause it was
he's
good.
looking around. Okay.
So Alibaba, the rest of you are just hanging out in the water.
It kind of looked like he was trying to be stealthy, and I know that I can't be. So I was giving him an opportunity. But if he's up on the bank and it doesn't look like anything major reacted to him, and he's not, giving me any signs to not, I'll head over there myself. I'll attempt to be stealthy.
Maybe I should look around
Just give it a go.
before you get here.
Do you like kind of stop us? Like we're watching. I know I'm watching
Hold
you
on.
to kind of see what happens.
Let me see if I die.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Hold up a
Please
hand
don't
then.
do
So
that.
he's gonna kind of go up a little further, and then do a perception check.
Heard it again.
Sounds good.
Ooh.
So good.
Yeah, even it's just an absolutely empty room.
So good.
It's fine, guys.
Cool. Head
Don't
over
worry
there.
about it.
All right. I guess so. What could go wrong? I guess. Slosh, slosh, slosh.
Yeah, so you all swim to the side, and just as you're getting up, Karos,
Yes.
as the one nearest by, you see
There.
a figure come out from the shadows. And what's interesting is where she was, like the exact line of shadow reveals her body as if she was completely invisible. and she points a trident at you and begins shouting in a language you don't know.
Indeed, I do not.
Merfolk.
Shout, 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 shout. Grabble, grabble, grabble. Rabble, rabble,
Uh,
rabble.
I'll respond in Elvish. Hello. Don't mean you any harm.
She looks very taken aback, and she replies and again in this language you don't understand. But she does cock her head. She seems to recognize some aspect of what you're saying. At the sound of the
Friend?
shouting, a second person emerges. This one emerges from the hut. Zoop.
The hut.
So in just
And
common, I'm going to say,
he shouts at her something in that same language you don't recognize.
hello, hail, and well met, friend.
She completely ignores you
Okay.
in common, and she's still got the trident pointed at Karos. But this guy begins to approach. And he's got a much more peaceable stance to him. He's got his arms outstretched and kind of palms outward. He looks like he's trying to calm the other one.
Can I mutter something in primordial just to see if their ears look at or their eyes look at me?
Sure, give it a go.
Okay, I just say hello and like a really kind of hushed primordial language.
They don't seem to respond to this either.
I think also, isn't primordial just sort of like a
Yeah,
It honestly sounds like you're mooing, and they don't really expect any different.
I'm offended by that statement.
Oh, speaking of, I had a question for you. Now, Amubis is wearing leather armor, and I was just curious about that.
How does he feel about that?
Well, I was
Who's
like,
leather?
what leather is this?
I did some things.
It's just like it's horse leather, and he just doesn't care about it. He's like, "What? They're horses.
Kangaroo leather.
Chicken
you know.
leather.
They're not like a lie. I mean, I don't.
Chicken leather. That's a lot of chicken.
Eat more chicken.
That's just jerky, isn't it?
That's pretty gross. It can be some sort of giant bird leather if you want.
A chocobo
Ostrich leather.
There you go.
All right, we'll say it's giant bird leather.
Yeah, giant bird.
Eat more chicken.
That's right.
And offensive to gross, but you know what? we're moving on. So as this guy approaches, he begins addressing the group, and he's still using a language you don't recognize.
I'll say again in Elvish. I'm sorry, we don't really understand the language. Am I correct in presuming this is the Underdark?
He looks more shocked than the other one did at you saying this. You speak the old language.
Yes, it's quite common among my people.
I have only heard it in stories. I have not heard it in person yet.
Oh,
I'm very
well,
curious.
You speak it remarkably well, then, for it being a fairy tale language.
It is one of my jobs among our people. I keep our law.
And your law is written in Elvish?
Pardon me, my law.
Lore.
It's the stories of our people.
Yes, it's the one or two words are off.
Yeah,
but
please.
For the most part, yeah.
Go ahead and ask for clarification if ever I'm intentionally doing them with a heavy accent.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we've just come on a long journey, and we're looking for a place where it's probably heavily guarded by your people. An entrance to a place called the Path, if you know.
All this is in Elvish, right? Still, like this whole conversation.
Yes.
Okay, just class.
Yes. So unless you speak Elvish, it's all kind of fancy gibberish.
Laugh it off with the full of hour.
Speak Gel beef. It's a breed of
They,
cows. Okay,
It's a good one.
thanks.
I'm sorry, I do not understand what you're saying. Tell me, are you from one of the other kingdoms?
Yes, in a manner of speaking. I'm not certain if that means the exact same thing to me that it does to you, but my people are the winged elves, and I do not represent them currently. I'm on a different mission for a different kingdom, but yes, above, suffice it to say.
Ah, this is most unusual. I have not seen anyone. Uh, I have not seen anyone from above ever.
Well, that's interesting.
I am Ovid, and this is Undyne, my sister.
Oh, well, it's lovely to meet you. My name is Karos Fester. These are my companions Alibaba and Amubis. I'm afraid they don't speak the language we're speaking right now, and so I fear this is completely unintelligible to them. I will be frequently communicating with them in our native tongue, which is common. I don't know if anyone knows it.
I know Common almost as well as I know Elvish, as that is to say, not very well. There are many stories we tell in Common.
Oh, that's convenient then. Well, I'll swap to that then for the benefit of my friends. Unless your sister only speaks Elvish, and this is
No, her Common is better than her Elvish. So
fair enough.
Many of the stories of history are in Elvish, and many of the stories of battles are in Common. It's more my sister's interest.
Well, that fits with everything I know about humans in general. So yes, let's swap to common, and we do so. This is
Undine, we will. They speak Common. Can you, I don't know, make an effort? I don't like, and she just walks away.
entirely fair.
She's very protective. They kind of castle here and swap places. It's very difficult life here in the Underdark.
I'm sure it's must be hard without the sun's rays to help aid in crop growth or things like that.
We largely live off living things here, creatures eating creatures. Who knows where it ends? So you are not. I'm sorry. How did you get here if you are not from the other kingdoms?
Well, that has a part to do with the place I mentioned earlier that we're actually sort of trying to get back to. There's a sort of series of tunnels or something through magical space, kind of like that, but also kind of like another plane of existence, and also kind of like a creature that brought us here. A number of things. It's hard to explain exactly, but we came through that, if that makes sense.
I cannot say. Does not make sense, but you are here, so I thought this particular cave was mostly sealed off. This is why we live here.
Oh, are you not a part of a larger village or anything like that?
We do not live in the capital. It's sometimes easier if some of us go live on our own. Less of a burden on the general populace.
Yes, that does make a sort of sense.
Yes, my sister and I, we are sea elves. We fell here long ago, thousands of years perhaps. Our ancestors built a city too close to a ravine,
Canyon, a trench.
aye, trench, and they fell to the Underdark, and we've made a life here ever since.
Well, that's jolly interesting. Yes.
Yes,
I think it's
the locals call us the Drowned Lords.
Wow, that's impressive. Sounds fun, certainly.
They we are probably the weakest organized people in the Underdark, but we have found a life.
I'm sure your natural inborn abilities help you can gather resources that others cannot. I can see how you would carve out a niche for yourself here. I'm sure
He just
my
kind of nods,
people-
and for the other players, we're speaking in common now, so your characters can jump in if you care to.
I think right before it gets to common, Amubis goes, "Oh, they're going to hurt us. Tell us if they're going to hurt us."
No, they seem fine.
Okay.
So Alibaba, he in Infernal goes, "Do you know this language?"
Just
believe-
rotate.
I believe your friend is ill.
He does
I,
that.
I didn't think
he
it
seems
would
to have
work.
swallowed
You
some
know,
water.
I just gave it a shot.
It's nice to meet you.
I am Amubis, and I deeply bow. I don't want to offend.
I feel like there was probably a certain part where in Elvish I was like, Alufala Falulora Alibaba, Alufalufalufalubis.
Amubis is impronounceable in Elvish. It's just
Yes.
gibberish.
It's just a name.
What is this? What are they saying?
Do you want to show them the sword? Maybe they know what it is.
I mean, that's possible, certainly. He
I
is the keeper of lore, and it does seem to be a magical artifact.
want to show you something, but I do not. He's like trying to, kind of like trying to overtalk.
He's totally talking down to him.
Yeah, like, but he not meaning to. Like, he's like generally trying to, but he's like kind of like, like coming off as talking down to. You know what I mean?
So like my dad.
Yeah. Just like I don't think he's ever encountered like anybody that would be like living kind of more of a tribal life, and so he's just kind of more like he's like, I don't want to hurt you, like he's kind of talking like too loud, but he's like, I do want to show you something, and he like slowly presents the sword in a way that is by no means showing an act of aggression. So I presume.
Yeah, Undine will look at it and say, "Is gift?"
No, I'm not sure if it could hurt the user with a curse. And he starts using his hooves to like describe things.
Use your hands right now to describe a curse in any way, shape, or form.
He's kind of like an X with the fingers.
Yeah. I'll find an emoji worthy of that and put that in the chat. That's how it is.
Ovid will look it over and say, I have not seen this sword before, but I would not take it myself.
It does seem evil, doesn't it?
I believe it could have connection to the Drow. They seem to have a similar aesthetic. But if you think it is powerful, I would ask you do not return it to them. They seek to destroy my people, and I don't need them having any more power.
It's fair.
The Drow controls the Ashen Kingdom, and they feel they have a ancestral right to the Underdark. They would purge us, but they're not as good in the water, so we carve out our lives here.
Seems to be a sort of advantage. Do you have any form of like dwelling or any sort of encampment that we could stay at for a little bit? We've been
We,
traveling for a little while, and it would be nice to sit down for a moment.
you can come to our hut.
Thank you. Uh, and I suppose we won't impose on you for very long. But if there's anything you would like, word from the well, a few months outdated news from the overground, or um, any sort of information like that, I'm sure we can provide.
My people have been down here for thousands of years, so there's no news that would be interesting to me. Although, away, you said there was a path.
Yes, it's the sort of path that we traveled ourselves. To get down here, we now need to sort of turn right back around and go back up. It's rather complicated, but if you did want to walk this path, it would be a way out for you to the far more plentiful and I will say less hostile towards your kind. Uh, you'd need to find one more person. It sort of works in threes, you see.
There are many people at the capital. We could find someone's there. What would you do? What do you seek from the Underdark? Do you wish to make a life here?
Oh no, certainly not. What we're seeking is actually sort of where we started, but we couldn't get to it exactly that way, and so we had to go down and then back up, and then we can sort of see it. It's kind of like it was in a locked door behind us, and we had to grab the key first. But the key was very far away and hard to get to, and took killing a lot of things.
He kind of looks very confused about this.
Well, suffice it to say, we're looking for a way back up to not the Underdark. If you'd like to join us, you're more than welcome.
I have not heard of such a place, or my people probably would have sought it out. But there are places we can't go, so it would seem likely it's what you seek is in one of those places.
That does make sense.
I mean, we are limited in our resources, but I could take you to the capital of our people, the reservoir.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. I imagine it is in some group of, large group of people. I had put my money on the Drow, but certainly we might be able to find a few leads.
Well,
The reservoir.
there are three major people here. There are us, the Sea Elves. We are the weakest by far. There's the Ashen Kingdom of the Drow, run by the Ashen Queen. They are somewhat more hostile. They would take back the Underdark, but they are political as well, so they will not. They will not act on instinct. They will do what's best. And there is the Grey Empire of the Durgar and Schmerfelden. They are by far the largest organization here.
Do they have technology? Is that their superiority, or is it just might?
They do much crafting. They're somewhat closed in, so we do not interact with them as much as the Drow.
If I would have put
They
money on,
hate the water most of all. Think like rocks.
Yes, I've always found dwarves to be rather dense.
Wait.
Um,
Would
it's
we?
interesting though. I do think that our best bet for where it would be among the craftsmen and the most powerful people, but there's a lot more drow and drider connection to the path downward. So I'm not certain.
Would we be able to communicate with the drow once we get there in this city?
They would be much more reluctant to speak common. Um, but if you have a way to speak undercommon, they speak Elvish.
I could at least be a translator then.
Yes. Some way to speak undercommon would probably be most useful. So it is good to look for that.
Indeed.
Also, if we are going to try to reach the capital of my people, you need to breathe underwater.
Ooh.
So we must swim there. And this is something I can do with magic, but not today.
Yes, I also wouldn't really be able to do that today. Be able to do it for like an hour at a time later.
No, I can do it for a full day, but
Oh,
I need.
perfect.
This is not a spell I prepare very often.
I can see why.
Yeah, um so yes, if you wish to stay with us, this is fine.
That would be wonderful. Is there enough room?
It's not often. If we sleep on the floors, it's fine.
Sounds good.
I have
We
slept worse places.
I, I just about a couple hours ago I slept in a worse place. So
We were literally falling. Do
it's about as far away from sleeping on the ground as you can get.
I just keep doing the downward motion with my hands.
Yes,
Falling.
but I'm rather hungry, so if we can help you gather some things for dinner, I'm sure you weren't expecting guests, but we'll make ourselves useful while we're here, won't we?
It is probably best not to wander. It's very hard to survive the Underdark without proper training. My sister and I have learned the old ways, and they help you down here.
Hmm.
It's not new magic like yours.
Yes, mine is rather new. I invented it myself. Well, me and my father.
Yes, you can come with us. And he gestures you over and starts leading you towards the kind of clay hut. And as he goes forward, Undine falls back and says, "No actions, no movement." And then she kind of points at her eyes and points them at you in a very threatening manner.
At Karos or just the group?
Just at the group.
Alibaba just freezes, like,
So
She
we're allowed
she
to
means
make
no the movement against us, not no movement. Period. She will get less rusty.
but bonus action and reactions are fine though.
It's an old tradition of my people. Yeah, you can do. What is
We'll
it?
make sure not to do anything
What is it
threatening.
with slow? It's an action or a bonus
Action or bonus action, yeah.
So yeah, I don't have a specific map for this because this is kind of
That's fine.
a little bit
We're
more
in
of a
the,
role play section.
I'm gonna lean over
But-
to Karos and say something, but I'll let you keep talking for a second.
Yeah.
I was just gonna kind of try to pull Karos over more to the side and ask, I don't get it. We've always had just kind of uh, staged encounters or transient areas that we've gone through when we've been on the path. We're on the path, right? This is a civilization we're about to go see.
Oh no! Did you? Sorry, we're not on the path anymore. We're back.
I knew that. He starts kind of
Yeah.
shuffling back to the end of the
We've
line.
we've
Yes,
yeah.
so
Sorry,
we can die again.
we've accomplished our goal. Yes. Well, we've been rather susceptible to death for the past couple of days.
Oh, good, good. That's good.
How well you've managed to not die. You know, while the stakes were this high for your entire life. I think you can do it again for a little bit.
Please don't use stakes in that manner.
But yes, I mean, mission accomplished.
All
Go
right.
go us.
Go us.
Well done, we.
It does
But
feel pretty good to get out of there.
but of course, yes, we are going directly back in.
So what's the end game here then?
Well, the prince is, if you'll remember, the prince is waiting for us as the, well, who we think is the prince, is waiting for us as the guardian of the middle bit, just like we fought Nurungwe, and he was the guardian of the bottom path. We're going back up from the bottom to the middle to find the prince. And we only need to make it to him the once. I mean, I hope, because we'll just hand him his crown and he'll put it on and he'll be teleported back, or they'll use it to locate him a little bit better, and I mean that's us out of there then, because I'm sure the prince won't need to fight us. So our goal is pretty much done. We just need to get back to the path and make it up once.
I just don't think it's that easy, but if you say so, sounds good.
Yeah, that's the only indication we've had is that it'll be that easy. So
It's true.
unless, I mean, it isn't the prince, or he's been, I don't know, corrupted by the path or something to have too much of a hold on his job. I don't know. But nothing to it but to do it.
Very well.
And don't die. Yes, again.
I try not to.
So yeah, as you reach the hut, it's a real basic hut, but it seems to be a pretty ingenious use of what little resources are here in the Underdark. You definitely haven't seen anything like a tree or resembling good building materials. So it's made out of mud, and it looks like a dried seaweed. Inside, they have a coal fire going. That seems to be just pulled straight from the ore covered walls. That was one thing, that the rock walls seem to be very rich with ore down here, and they have an unusual amount of basins of water about. They seem to, although they are camping on land, they still like to have a lot of water about. And they did have something on the stove, and you see them kind of hold each other's hands in kind of a meditative position, and they kind of cup them in each other, so all four hands are together. And when they open them, good berries fall from their hands into the pot.
Oh, wonderful.
And
I love a good prayer.
and they give it a little stir. As this is not a prayer to any god, but to nature herself.
Nice.
These are the old ways.
I see.
So you're magic practitioners then? That's the old ways.
It's a form of magic. So many paths. The other kingdoms, prefer intellectual or religious magic, but we use our connection to nature. It's less binding. A god has requirements of you, and The arcane requires but one path to its riches. We like the freedom that nature provides.
Does seem very freeing. I've often found it annoying to have to be so specific, input output kind of thing.
Is there anything, like a map, anything around the room I could identify that might be useful?
You can do an investigation check.
All right.
As you search around. Wow.
These natural 20s. It's off the chain.
I gotta think of something good now. What would be helpful?
It is a very good map that I'm looking for.
So you don't see a map. What you do see is Ovid appears to have done some writings, and you can see that there are some of them that are in Common, and some of them in Elvish, and some of them in Undercommon. And appears to be some sort of written history of their lore. You can make moves for it if you want, or you could ask about it if you want, but that's what you notice.
Okay. Probably best to ask first. Alibaba says, what are these writings? Are you a writer?
Yes, I am a keeper of law. This is my life's work. I hope to copy the tales from each language into the other languages. So I have repeated stories in Elvish, Undercommon, and Common to cover all the languages I know. I also speak Aquan as well, but it's not. There are too few people who speak it. It's not worth translating.
Well, I am very interested in unique works. I would like to look over them if you would allow me to.
Yes, of course. I did not think I would have an outsider read them. It's somewhat exciting. If you have any questions, I would be happy to go over it. They detail some important stories from the elves, from the sea elves, and from the other peoples of the surface. They are not very well known among my people. Many thousands of years will make you forget some things.
So basically he's trying to see if there's anything he can learn, in this brief time that we're in here. I guess like however long it takes for him to get the spell back, and just see if I can learn anything about the area, rumors of how to get to the path, kind of a thing.
Yeah, so because your investigation was so good, we can just continue off of that roll, I reckon.
Okay.
So it's the stories really are kind of tales of the surface, and so they're not actually that much about the Underdark or about any place you are now. But what they can function as is a translating tool. Because you have the same stories in 3 different languages, you can just compare parts of them. And
Okay.
if you were to acquire these documents, it would help you translate Undercommon, Elvish, and Common to one another. And with enough time and study, you could probably learn those languages off of just these manuscripts.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to orchestrate some way to steal them then.
They could also be copied. They are pretty extensive, though. It would take a bit of work.
Hmm. Would I have time to do that?
I mean,
We technically have all the time in the world.
you've not been given like an ultimatum or agenda, like
Okay.
you must be out of here in 2 hours or whatever. Yeah, above game, he has to prepare the spell, so technically 8 hours, and he could have it up. But um,
So I
like I
have
said, you
ink
haven't
and
really.
parchment.
Mhm.
So,
You also have your Book of Ancient Secrets, which is certainly a decent keeping place for these types of things.
would you mind if I took some time to um, copy these passages for um, future use for people above, what they might think?
Yes, as much as you care to. Just be careful with it. I've been working on them my whole life. Uh, and so if you get started on that, the one of the first stories you come across is um, about the ancestral god of giants, Anim Allfather, playing a game of dragon chess against Asgarath, the god of dragons, and it was kind of the game that started the blood feud between giants and dragons that persists to this day. So it's kind of, but it's written in a very fairy tale way. Like this is obviously a story for children, but it's kind of one of those grim fairy tales where like it all has kind of a bad ending where giants and dragons are slaughtering each other by the end of it. But
Cool.
yeah, you can kind of copy some stuff over, and especially paying attention to common words and phrases. Just writing all three translations down, and it will help if you have to get to translating in the future.
Yes. 20 coming in clutch.
Nice.
As you're kind of copying these things over, and like comparing the manuscripts, Undine actually kind of comes over and starts looking at what you're doing, and she's kind of muttering under her breath the translations as well. So she seems to be kind of relearning it while you're working through it as well. You piqued her curiosity in language once again.
What are you? What are Anubis and Karos doing?
Karis is probably just chatting with Ovid this whole time, just about
You can see Ovid kind of smiling over towards his sister and says, "I've tried to get her to take an interest. It feels like for 100 years. She's a stubborn girl."
Amubis is trying to find a comfortable place to sit. He's kind of being that awkward guest at the house party. He's like,
Yeah, this is definitely like a mud hut made for 2 sea elves who are pretty normal person sized, and you're a big minotaur man.
oh, this is very homely. I'm just saying
Like-
stuff like that.
Like he can usually fit, yeah, you're like, oh, cozy. You can usually fit, but it feels like every time you find a good spot, if you move even slightly, your horns end up dragging against the roof, and it's like because you're like aware of them, but they don't technically have like the kind of feeling that an appendage does. So like every once in a while, they'll get a little out of your control. But you end up because it's a dome, you end up kind of just sitting right in the center of the room as it's the best spot for someone of your size. Technically the most space, and they don't seem to mind. I mean, uh, they really don't. They don't really have like a sense of personal space or even really possession. They're kind of survivors, so they don't they know what people are going through, so they don't say anything if you're being awkward.
Well, that's kind. Is where we're going? Is it particularly a dangerous path along the way?
Everywhere is dangerous since the Underdark.
Fair.
We will likely get in many fights. It's not that far, but still, you can't go anywhere without getting in a fight here.
Well,
It's not like the surface, at least not like the Tales of the Surface.
No, the proper surface isn't. Uh, I can't really remember having too many physical fights up there. Where we've just come from is very much like that, though. You seems like every room there's to fight.
Yes, this path is very strange. I've not heard of this place. But
We haven't.
if one of the other kingdoms found out about it, they would definitely keep it a secret from the other two. It's not there's much rivalry. They would all see all of us subjugated.
It's a shame. And your people are
Tis the Underdark.
your people aren't like that. Do you think if they got a bit of power, they would abuse it like the others?
No. We have no affinity for the Underdark. We do not wish to rule here. We will survive here as long as we need to, but it's the first chance to leave, we would.
Well, if worst comes to worst, we can always pass along the knowledge that we have to create an entrance to the path. I'm not certain if it would accept. I don't know exactly how that works, but we do sort of know how to make an entrance. We've sort of got secondhand knowledge.
So that is a possibility. We do not have many resources, my people, and
Yes, that is. It's a rather large
the
drain.
bulk of our people are underwater, so I don't know if that's possible.
Well,
But
we'll
we could try.
cross that bridge if
It's
we
a
need
way
to.
out. We will certainly try.
Yes. Yeah, I'll probably just keep talking
Yeah,
amiably.
and at some point they'll serve the good berry soup.
Stoop.
It turns out to be kind of like a curry with dates in it or something. You know, it's not like eating like grape jelly or something. It's not overly sweet, though it does have berries in it. There's some kind of meat in it. I think all of you best not to complain about it. But yeah, you'll kind of pass the night chatting, and there's kind of no day-night cycle here, so there's just sort of a point where the two of them just kind of declare it's time for bed, and you don't really object. They trance like you do, so they just kind of lean up against the wall somewhere. Wow. Alibaba and Amubis have to do a proper sleep.
That's right. I ask Ovid kind of before we get down for the night if there's any sort of preparation for anything that we may face as far as enemies or whatnot, just to kind of get an idea of what I would need to prepare or kind of things I would need to have on me in case we were to get into a fight.
He'll just say we will be under the water most of the time, so anything that would help you move down there. I found that most people have an impaired swimming ability. There are only certain types of weapons that are effective underwater. There's a potential for it to be very dark. If you have no way around that, it would be wise to find something. Just anything you think would help you in the water. I wouldn't rely on I don't know what your abilities are, but Um, heat works, but not so much fire. If you have magic.
Indeed, that is a problem.
No, you can still. I'll show you. And he puts his hand in one of the basins of water and uses produce flame. And you see the water where the flame is begins to boil, and then he takes a piece of cloth and he puts it in the boiling water and pulls it out, and the cloth is unaffected. He goes, "See, heat is fine, but no flame.
Hmm.
It still hurts things. It just won't catch them on fire."
That's fair.
So, yeah. So, and also the whole time you're copying over, Undine kept interjecting and asking what words were, and making you like go over stuff you had already done. It actually impedes your progress a little bit, but she's very insistent, and you feel a little bit obliged because you're borrowing stuff from her brother, so you indulge her. And
If you hear explosions, Alibaba's just shooting Eldritch Blast into the water to see what happens.
he's so frustrated. Why are we in the stupid Underdark? So yes, by the end of the night, she has got much better communication skills. As like, she technically speaks all of these languages. She just hadn't used them in a long time, so she's kind of working out the kinks, getting less rusty.
I am going to take a little second because I think this is probably going to be my best bet. I'm going to adjust my armor.
Okay.
I think I'm going to try to make it into the agi mode essentially.
Ooh, cool.
Because looking at the list of weapons that do not have disadvantage underwater, fist is not one of them. So I don't want to have just constant disadvantage, and so I'm going to try. And then it'll only be for a bit, so I can always go back if I need to. But I'm going to swap it around to. Let me see what the actual name of it is.
It's I think adaptive armor is the effect, but it's
Infiltrator.
like defender and infiltrator. Very nice.
Yep.
Excuse me, sir. Thank you so much for having us in our home. You were mentioning that weapons under the water would be good to fight. Are we emerging from the water at any point, or is this mostly going to be underwater the whole time?
No, it is an underwater path, and our city is underwater, so we'll be
Understood.
all the way. Yeah, and just so you know, your shield follows pretty much the same rules as a short sword, so it does not have disadvantage underwater.
Okay. Well, I was specifically asking if water walk would be a spell I should do, and it sounds like no.
It wouldn't really make a big difference.
You just gonna stand wherever you want.
Yeah. He's like standing on the water with the battle going down below, like, what's happening?
No, when you mention that to him, he goes, I have a similar spell, and no, it's not very useful. So yeah, like I say, you rest overnight. In the morning, there's leftover goodberry stew, which it's still tasty. It's a full day's worth of food, so you don't have to worry about eating for the rest of the day, which is nice. And you can see that they start to gear up in the morning. They both have.
I was actually wrong, and also my ranged weapon would have disadvantage. So I'm just going to
leave
leave
it everything.
It's disadvantage against so melee weapon attacks have disadvantage unless they're dagger, javelin, short sword, spear, or trident, and ranged weapon
Okay.
attacks have disadvantage unless they're crossbow, net, or thrown. So there we go.
Hmm.
I'll
Well,
just
yeah.
I'll just have disadvantage then. That's fine.
Well, it's like they're. I don't know. They're kind of special weapons, so it's kind of hard to say because.
Yeah. I was going basically based off if they said unarmed strikes were like fine, that it would probably be okay. But
I'm gonna look at the um, artificer thing, but y'all say what you're gonna do.
I was wondering. So I
Mhm.
think Anubis is kind of convinced that that rapier he was given is cursed in some way, because he really didn't get any sort of answer from when Alibaba was looking at it earlier. So I kind of wanted to see if he could ritual cast remove curse while he was at some point during that long resting period that we had, to see if that did anything. I mean, probably not if he didn't know, if he can't identify it. But after doing that, he would then want to try to ask Karos if it was a good idea to attune to it.
Yeah, you can you link that spell in chat?
Sure.
I don't think it does anything. I'll take a look.
Yeah, if the object is a cursed magic item, its curse remains, but the spell breaks its owner's attunement to the object, so it can be removed or discarded. So probably what we do is just attune to it, and then
realize you've been cursed, and then go from there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Well, then me and Kuros have a serious conversation before I go to bed about should I attune to the sword. Do you think it's
if you'd
worth
like,
it?
if you'd like me to do it, you probably have a better chance if I get sort of, I don't know, drunk or mad with power to to take me down and cast remove curse. I don't have that ability, and so it might be best if I give it a shot first, and then then I hand it off to you once it's once we've good and investigated it.
All right, and I hand it over to Kuros.
Yeah, I'll attune to it. This is all kind of happening over the long rest, so I'll attune to it, real quick during one of the hours of the long rest because I'm light activity.
Yeah, sounds good.
I mean, even if I could do it like the hour, so like the 7th hour of the long rest, so I could always just pass it straight off back to Anubis if it's not hella cursed.
One sec. So you attune to it.
Cool.
And you can recognize this item, though you recognize it indeed as a magic item. You can recognize it as perhaps the finest magic item you've ever laid hands on. You can't possibly see how someone could craft something with this much magic in it. As you kind of have been around magic items your whole life, you have sort of a mental classification system to it, and you recognize this as an artifact. This is something that societies would be built around. This is a major big deal. It's also a +1 rapier.
Oh.
So,
on a sad note,
Side note?
Yeah, just a side note. It's a +1 rapier.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all for now.
Okay, that's all I really got.
Add a +1 rapier, and nothing particularly bad happens to you.
Cool. Well, this is a fine magic item. I've never seen its equal. However, I don't think it's my hands that will unlock its true power. I'm really only getting you know, pretty much what I can do with my magic off of it right now. I give it a few exploratory swings, and just, it's certainly wonderful, and I can tell that there's lots of potential here. But I don't feel I'm going to be the one to unlock it, and I don't feel like I can't unattune to it, or there's anything bad that happened just via me, connecting with it on that level. So have at it.
All right.
And I somewhat more gingerly hand it over to Anubis now that I know it's pretty cool.
I take it
Pretty
and
cool.
attune to it.
Yeah, it's a funny, like, because you know how magic works, your fear is like, it's not like you pass it gingerly because you're afraid
No,
of breaking it. You know
I'm
that
afraid
like
of it
a
blowing
nuke
us
could
all
fall
up.
on this thing and it wouldn't
Yeah.
break. You're afraid of losing it more than anything. Like, you're like, what if this thing slides in the water and we never find it again? Like, the idea of losing something like this is pretty abhorrent.
No, I am fully aware it's unbreakable. That's like, which is funny how basic that is to magic. Like all magic items are unbreakable, which is very funny.
Yeah,
It's like I can make an unbreakable thing. Like it's apparently not super hard.
yeah, it is kind of funny, but yes, this thing is especially something else.
So yeah, plus one rapier. Cool.
Sweet. I put it in, I attune to it, put it in my sheath.
With potential for
Sheath.
more.
Put it in my sheath and mentally put it in my sheet. Little putty.
Yes, you have its milky white blade.
Uncounted too.
Gotta delete Rainer's HP
Yeah.
off of there. Sad.
Bye bye, sweet princess. Yeah, I took a look at it while that was going on. I'm gonna rule that your infiltrator suit's weapon will work normally.
Okay.
I think it makes sense that the Thunder Gauntlets wouldn't, which I didn't really think of when I started this, but it's all good. Not everybody has to do everything. But just because, if you look at the weapons, it's piercing damage, and for the ranged weapons, it's piercing weapons that you don't have to draw, and like there's no. It's lightning that's getting launched from your suit. I don't really see how that would be impeded by being underwater.
It would
really
arguably be helped considerably. Yeah, that makes sense. And like drawing back your fist and like punching with it is not like I would literally
that
just
would
be
you
less
would lose
effective.
momentum on that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
for
makes
sure.
sense that would be disadvantage. So yeah, if you use your infiltrator suit, it's also nice wetsuit kind of quality. It makes sense for
Yeah,
a watery adventure.
that's a little bit what
It
I was
also has
trying to
like basically the same AC, right? Or like exactly the same AC.
It's literally exactly the same. Yeah, the things that I lose are my Thunder Gauntlet, so I'll no longer be able to like pulse to hit people, and defensive field. So like my temp HP won't be there, but I get 5 extra feet of movement, and
also if you're
range
in
weapon.
melee range, you get disadvantage, which is
Yeah. Yeah, which I would have already with my thing. So like, it's fine.
Yep. Cool. Well, that's good. So in the morning, you see Ovid. Like I said, they gear up a little bit. Ovid uses. He doesn't have a staff, but it's like a bone stick that he uses. Undine is using a trident. They both have on armor that appears to be made of crustacean shell. So they have a very like organic kind of look to the things they have, with the exception of the trident, which is made of metal. And Ovid sits down and he kind of traces in the air for a little bit and ritual casts water breathing for everybody because it hits up to 10 people. I'm just gonna link that in chat for y'all's edification. Isn't this
So do we get
magical?
gills, or we just can breathe water?
I think it's sort of a magic thing, but
Right.
Oh, for some reason I didn't get in his character sheet, but you get the idea. I'll just read it out. It might not have been in Roll20, you know how it goes. Oh, jeez. Isn't this magical?
isn't this romantic?
Romantic. Alright, third level transmutation ritual, 1 action, 30 feet, 24 hours. The spell grants up to 10 willing creatures you can see within range the ability to breathe underwater until the spell ends. Affected creatures also retain their normal mode of respiration. So you can now all breathe water and air, including Sir Newt the bird. Yeah, so he goes ahead and casts it on all of you, and he'll lead you to the water's edge and say, well, this is the way to the capital. Are we ready?
Sounds good. Yeah, and I have altered my armor. It is now pointier at places and smoother in other places. Like I made my wings far more aerodynamic, and everything's just like a lot sleeker, less like interconnected bits, so that water doesn't get into a lot of the
Right.
more sensitive bits.
Totes.
Already. And yes, as said, my fist kind of has converted into. I'm thinking of it sort of like Chewbacca's bowcaster. It's got like two little like things that flip out and create like a little arc of electricity that fires off. But
Nice.
Our DM, are we setting up to kind of close out? With being at 10 o'clock, I didn't know what your plan was. I was just checking.
Yeah. This is where we're winding down.
Okay.
We can. Do we want to go to the next
descend.
map end on, or do we end on before the next
That'd be
map?
a
Next
nice
map.
little-
End on next map.
Nice
Next
little
map. Next map.
teaser.
All right. So you dive underwater and swim down towards the bottom of this lake. Like I said, it was an enclosed chamber they were in. So this is kind of like an underwater path to a small cave where they had been staying to kind of keep away from other people in danger and such. So as you swim down, you can see that there's a tunnel that leads away. Now that you all have dark vision, you're able to navigate it pretty effectively. You're pretty slow in the water, but nobody's in any rush, so it's all right. And you swim a ways, and this tunnel, it's maybe like 15, 20 foot diameter, so it's a decent size. Like, it's comfortable to swim through, especially if you go single file. And eventually you reach a point where it opens up into a large chamber with various bits of sea life, but most notably the corpse of a drowned humanoid woman in the center of the room.
Oh no.
That's where we'll end.
Yeah.
Corpse of a woman.
It's an underwater sea mystery, murder mystery.
That's right. Are you ready to be detectives?
Yeah.
Pirate.
I've been a detective this whole time, and I take off
This
the
is-
mask.
And you drown. No, I'm just kidding. You have water.
I get my Sherlock pipe out to blow bubbles.
Oh, speaking
It
of
doesn't
take off
bite.
your mask and your drow, we do actually know that the drow are somewhat involved, more than just guessing, because the drow assassin that killed the king in the first step. Potential hint that I've just remembered.
History check pass.
Teaser. Well,
Remarkable.
thank you, PS Zombie. That was great. I like this new Underdark world with the being in the water.
Underwater,
flavor.
Underdark.
That's right.
Yeah.
Undercurrent.
Cool story.
For a little atypical Underdark.
Yeah.
So-
So,
Yeah, I'm into it.
and that's a place you don't go often, there, folks. There, you guys listening in on Twitch. trying to find how many
Unless you're
Underdark
playing
campaigns. There's not many. So
Descent to Avernus, I believe, is the Underdark campaign.
We were in Rhett's campaign. We were in the Underdark.
yeah.
I personally like the Underdark version of the
But were you
Feywild.
underwater, underdark?
Is there an Underdark Feywild?
Yeah, it's called the Feydark. It's really cool.
Ah,
It's ruled by like this giant wolf king called Bress. He's very cool. I've used him in pretty much every campaign I have because I'm just like, that's dope.
like breast just bites your head off. Just bites it right off.
Just straight up. Yeah, and it's got all the roots of the.
Is he like a little bit like Fenrir, the thing that ate Odin?
Yeah, very much like that. Just big old wolf guy. All the roots of the trees from the Feywild grow into the Feydark, so it's just like kind of
Ooh.
upside down forest with like spooky root
Ooh.
growth. It's very cool.
That is neat.
It'd be cool. You do the whole campaign in Spider Climb, like so.
Yeah.
All your characters are
That's it.
walking on the roof with the roots growing up,
Blood
And
rushes
then-
to your head.
and like if you drop something, it flies like infinitely into the void.
Flies up.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
All right.
sorry to derail your
You're good.
off ramp.
No, you're good.
Thanks,
So
guys.
that's episode 20. We thank you for listening either now or later. You can, again, this is a reminder that you can find PU to ASU on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and here, of course, here on Twitch. Also, as a reminder, our YouTube channel has all our archived campaigns, and it's got playlists for each campaign series. It's got one for the Unbeaten Path and one for Kaiju Slayer, which is tomorrow. Do another plug for that. 8 o'clock Central, this channel tomorrow. Kaiju Slayer will start session 4 of that as the team takes on their first Kaiju monster. And it's getting pretty down to the wire, so you don't want to miss it. Yep, just like that octopus emoji. So check that out tomorrow, this channel. Again, a special shout out to Pfeiffer Campus Activities Board for the shout out on social media earlier and sharing my post, and I thank you for that. This is the PU to ASU channel, and I am Putu, and this has been the Putu crew and the Unbeaten Path, and we want to wish you a good night, and thanks for listening.
Night, chat.
Goodbye.